Good morning, men. It's Wednesday morning. And we got some loud trucks going by. And we've got our fire going because it is nice and cool out. And I came upon an article yesterday while I was out shopping. And I figured I'd have a little Wednesday fireside chat here on it, and I'm going to read you the article, and it's fairly long, not too crazy, but and it's pretty much a story that you know, we've all heard before, especially in the so-called manosphere on YouTube, and anybody involved in the MRM, MRA, MGTOW, you know, I mean, all these different acronyms that you want to call it, but it still applies to, you know, all men really, and how, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to the other camera, because I've got it set up on the tripod so I can read this thing, and I won't be holding this one here, but I just wanted to get a picture of the fire. It's looking good and starting the day off nicely. So anyway, I'm going to switch over to the other one and we'll go from there. Alright, so carrying on, it is still early. I'm only on my second cup of coffee, maybe third, I don't know. Anyway, this is from our Citrus County Chronicle, which is the local paper, and as you can see, the headlines on the front page: domestic abuse knows no gender, which caught me, well, it caught my eye yesterday. I don't usually go shopping on Wednesdays, but I needed a bunch of stuff. I needed to make a bunch of stops and everything, and while I was waiting in line to pay my ticket, you know, I was looking at the paper and I saw this on the front page, and I thought, wow, you know, now I know this isn't a national newspaper or anything, but you know, it's a county-wide newspaper. They are online too, so if you want to look at the article, I guess you could go to the Citrus County Chronicle, and it's from October 30th, 2018, which was yesterday. What's today? Today's Wednesday, sorry, I went shopping on Tuesday, okay. So anyway, it says, I'll read this as best I can. Jeff, not his real name, tells the story of being a victim of domestic abuse during his 20-year marriage. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, CASA. The Citrus Abuse Shelter Association provides services for men as well as women who are in abusive relationships. Hang on, I've got to change glasses. These are my regular far glasses, so hang on just a minute, I'll be back. Okay, that's much better. I can see now. Alright, CASA, the once women-only shelter, now also offers men a safe place to go. So, here's my commentary on this whole thing. You know, the story that the guy tells is one we've heard a million times before in here. I don't think the normies really get to hear this very much, and you know, they're probably not going to get around to it. But since this whole you know, thing with the feminists and the Me Too movement and the, you know, the Kavanaugh thing and all these countries that are going full retard with the feminism and throwing men under the bus and, you know, putting men down, I think they're starting to finally feel the heat because more and more men are checking out of the system, and they're trying to throw crumbs, you know. Now, I don't know what this author, and it is written by a female, Nancy Kennedy. She's a staff writer. So, you know, I tend not to trust female journalists or newscasters, well, men either, but they all have an agenda. So, to me, this is like, are they trying to throw some crumbs out there because they see that men are checking out and this will keep us on the plantation, you know? Until judges and laws and things really change, this is, you know, this is so long overdue. I mean, you know, since basically the 60s, you know, this kind of shit should have been happening a long time ago. But now, all of a sudden, they're starting to do it. So I always look for ulterior motives when I read things like this. And, you know, anyway, all right, we'll get into the article here. Now that I've made my commentary, what I think about it is the first time Jeff, not his real name, Jeff's wife threw something at him. It was about 6 months after they got engaged and had moved in together. I caught her in a lie. When I confronted her, she went off the deep end, said Jeff, whose name has been changed for the story. Okay, we get it. She threw my keys at me as she kicked me out of the house. I was in shock. I never expected that before. She later apologized, said she would never do that again. Besides, she didn't hurt me, he says. Over the next 21 years, she threw a lot of things at him, but she never really hurt him. Physically, that is. But she belittled him, falsely accused him, screamed and yelled at him, manipulated and controlled him. Domestic abuse is not always about physical violence, but about control, Jeff said. And let me interject again. Even if it is physical, and regardless of who does it, a man or a woman, it's about control. Okay, jealousy, rage, physical abuse, mental abuse, all of it is about control. Going on with the article. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Jeff is only one of about a dozen men who came to the Citrus Abuse Shelter Association last year for services. The once women-only shelter can now safely accommodate men. Safely accommodate men, huh? Okay. Said CASA Executive Director Sunshine Arnold. Sunshine Arnold? What a name. Okay, adding that they get 2 or 3 calls a month from men who are involved in abusive relationships. Okay, this is a small county, and they're getting 2 or 3 calls a month, and this is from guys that are admitting that they have an abusive relationship, trying to get away from women. So you got to figure it's a lot higher than that. Okay, going on with the article again. Nationwide, 1 in 4 men have been physically abused, slapped, pushed, shoved by an intimate partner. I like that, intimate partner. Like, most men are gay, right? Well, nowadays, I don't know anymore. And 1 in 7 have been severely, physically, let's go to page 2. Turn this over, let's see. Abused, hit with fist or hard object, kicked, slammed against something, choked, burned, etc. That's some nasty shit, man. Whoever said women are all sugar and spice and everything nice? Yeah, there you go. Nearly 49% of men have experienced at least one psychologically aggressive behavior incident being kept track of by demanding to know whose whereabouts, his whereabouts, insulted or humiliated or felt threatened by a partner's actions. By an intimate partner, and 4 in 10 men have experienced at least one form of coercive control. Isolation from friends and family, manipulation, blackmail, deprivation of liberty, threats, economic control, and exploitation by an intimate partner. One of the problems faced by men who are being abused is not being taken seriously, or being blamed as the perpetrator. We know that due to the first aggressor law. This is, again, the laws need to change before any of this has any meaning. They can put it on the front page, but until the laws change, attitudes change, judges, lawyers, cops, all of them. It has to change, and this isn't going to happen very quickly, let me tell you. Alright, so, even Jeff thought the things his wife was doing weren't abuse. He would tell himself that the reason she demanded he come right home after work was because she was cooped up in the house all day with the kids and missed him. This is how stupid guys are. Anyway, but then it escalated. If he went out with his guy friends after work, she would scream and yell when he got home. Eventually he stopped going out. It was easier that way. That crap has to stop. He wasn't allowed to go to his mom's 60th birthday party out of state. He was required to call when he was on his way home from work. He wasn't allowed to carry more than $1 in his wallet. I mean, this broad sounds like a psycho and a half. I am surprised that any kind of men would put up with this kind of crap. Hang on, I gotta light this cigarette again. Carrying on. He wasn't allowed to carry more than $1 in his wallet. She called him names, made him sleep on the couch. Jeff knew this wasn't right. It wasn't normal, I'd say. But he didn't recognize it as abuse until a friend, who had also been in an abusive relationship, pointed it out to him. He read some text messages my wife sent me while I was with him, Jeff said, and he said, "That's control. Don't you understand that?" After that, Jeff and his 2 children started talking about an escape plan. Their code word, Starbucks. The day came when Jeff had enough. It was time to go to Starbucks. He packed up his kids, got in his car, and fled. Now, I'll interject again. I'm surprised she didn't call the cops on him for kidnapping or anything. But he did right by getting the kids away from her. Anyway, he packed up his kids, got in his car, and fled. He barely made it to the ATM to get as much cash as he could and to the gas station to fill his tank with gas before his wife texted that she was canceling his debit card. Holy crap. She figured out that he wasn't coming back. Yeah. Even before that day, Jeff had started calling domestic abuse shelters in North Texas, where he lived at the time. But they all said the same thing. "We sympathize with your situation, but we're only able to accept women." However, the day Jeff left, a shelter for men had opened up in the Dallas area, and that's where he and his 2 children went. "I went from having a nice home and nice things to basically being homeless," Jeff said. In a shelter, it's not a home. First, you're coming out of a traumatic situation, and then you're put into a group setting, which is uncomfortable, but there's also comfort in that group. They impact your life because they've experienced what you've gone through, and they understand. That was May of 2017. He stayed 6 weeks and then moved to Citrus County to be near family. Father's Day, June 18th. "The first year I was on edge," Jeff said, "but in the past 3 to 4 months I've been able to go out by myself, enjoy myself. I'm doing things a normal person does, like going to church. I was never allowed to go before. I don't have to tell someone where I'm going. I'm not afraid to spend my own money. I sleep through the night. I'm setting goals, and they are my goals." This is where MGTOW comes in from the old days of real MGTOW shit, not this crap it's turned into now. Okay, I know it sounds crazy but still not a day goes by that I don't think about her, that I married this woman for better for worse, and there's a part of me that still wants to be with her. God, what can I even say about that? This is... Alright, carrying on. This woman I talked to every day for 20 years, and to not have that in my life requires me to learn who I am now without her. Even a year later, I'm still asking myself, am I okay with being with myself? Jeff said he reached out to Casa because he wants to be available to other men in this situation and to let them know that abuse is abuse and it's not just a woman's issue. He said he hopes his story will give another man the courage to pick up the phone and call the hotline. Our society and men's egos... Oh, by the way, she does give the number for the hotline here, which I'm not going to give out because, yeah, just not going to give it out. You can look that up for yourself if you want. It's CASA, C-A-S-A, acronym. Our society and men's egos don't acknowledge domestic abuse against men. Right. Oh, she didn't hurt you. But it's not about the violence, he said. It's about the control and power over you. So anyway, look, it's a crumb being thrown in the right direction. It made front page, yes, on a local paper, but it's not on the second page or on the fold out or anything like that. And it's a tiny step in the right direction. But again, I think that a lot of it has to do with, they're starting to realize that they're running men off and that men are having a great time on their own. And that there's nothing wrong with being on your own and making a life for yourself. Actually, it's a lot easier without having an anchor woman on your back. I can't tell you how many men pine to have some woman in their life, and when they finally do get that, then they're miserable. So I think society as a whole, or at least the media, partial media, and women are starting to see that, yeah, men are leaving the plantation in droves. You've got the Pence rule, you've got the thing with the Me Too, and all this stuff is all coming to a head. And I think they're starting to see the error in their ways. Unfortunately, because of how women act nowadays and how they treat men, it's too little too late. You're gonna, fine, there might be very few submissive women out there that treat a man well and act properly, but you can't undo female biology, just like you can't undo male biology. We're all geared into a certain way, and we are what do you call it, a pair bonding society. So I guess in a way we are. It's a 50-50 thing, if I remember Robert Sapolsky's biology lectures correctly, which I probably don't this early in the morning. But anyway, I wanted to read you guys this article to show that, there's small steps being taken. Wow, he's hauling ass. There's small steps being taken, but I don't think they're for the most honest reasons. You always have to be on the lookout, especially with manipulative people, and nowadays that is exactly what is going on with the media. Even politicians, everybody's trying to manipulate, trying to make it appear like something good is happening, and it's all going to get swept under the rug, and things are going to go on just as they are. you know, like I said, the courts are going to have to change. Oh, family courts are definitely going to have to change. Laws are going to have to change. And this isn't about to happen very quickly, but when enough of us have checked out, left, and you know, the feminists aren't going to have anybody to rely on anymore to keep their air conditioning running, or their cars running, or their you know, anything they use. It's all male driven, and the more people start backing off of it, and companies are going to start getting the drift too. Actually, I see more big corporations not taking a stance, not taking this social justice stance or politically correct stance. They're shutting up, they're doing their business, they're selling their goods, and not getting involved in the politics of all this, or the social politics of it either, which is a smart move, because they'll continue to make money. Now, every time I hear that, you know, this is a feminist-owned business, like, they have to mention it, you know. Do I care if a woman owns a business? I care about the quality of the product I'm getting. But if they're going to put on it, this is a women-only thing, yeah, you know what? I'm going to back away from it, because I don't like being manipulated or led by the nose. So anyway, I'm done ranting. I'm going to have a cup of coffee here. I'm going to put a few more logs on the fire. I hope you enjoyed that and somebody got something out of it. Like I said, if you get on the internet and look up Citrus County Chronicle for yesterday's date, the 30th. God, I've got a sieve for a brain. Yeah, it was 30th, October 30th. You can look it up for yourself. Maybe somebody else wants to do an article on it and bring up some different points. That would be fine with me too. The more the merrier. So anyway, okay, that's it for me for today. Talk to you later.